Hi everyone, today we're going to be reviewing another one of your candles sent in by a subscriber, and this company is called And Ivy. I'm really excited to open this up and dive right in. Hi everyone, my name is Wade Thomas. I'm the owner of Black Tie Barn Candle Company. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a like by hitting the thumbs up button below, also subscribe and click on the bell icon to turn on notifications. Those three things are all you really need to do to let YouTube know that you are interested in content like this or any other candle making content, candle making business videos, and so on. I would really appreciate it. It also helps to support the channel. With all that being said, I appreciate you all for being here. I've been doing reviews on the channel now for a couple of months, and I have plenty others on the channel. I would recommend you check them all out whenever you have time. They are part of a playlist as well to make it easier for you to find and just watch all the reviews if you'd like to. But the reviews are really nice because it's an opportunity and a chance for us to see all the other candles that each other here inside this community are working on. And this is an opportunity to get some feedback from another candle maker, but also to share a little bit about what you're doing and your brand here on the channel. If this is the first review you have seen, this is completely voluntary. You all reach out to me and offer to send in one of your candles to check out and review on the channel. So with that being said, this is for entertainment purposes, but also informational, and it can be helpful as well for those of you looking for a little bit of feedback to improve your candles. This is all meant to be positive and constructive. If anyone else is interested in doing that as well, just please let me know in the comments section. I'll shoot you an email address and then we can go from there. But it's very easy. Like I said, I've done several of these already. Let's go ahead and open this up. So I'm going to go ahead and just take everything out of the box so that we have a little more room to work with here. So this is a custom thank you card. Really nice looking thank you across the top. And then there's actually a custom printed note. Wade, thank you so much for taking the time to create your candle review series and looking at my candles. I hope you enjoy. Love, And Ivy. I can't thank you enough. That is so awesome that they did custom thank you cards. I don't know if this is what they normally do. If so, that's a really nice touch. I print off my packing slip and stamp it with a thank you. that's kind of the extent of what I do. So this is definitely a step up from my perspective. So I absolutely love this. Your whole like vibe is awesome. I don't even know exactly what the vibe is yet, but I love it. Something's kind of jumping out at you. It almost seems a little cosmic or something. So I love the aesthetics, the looks of the card, and the custom thank you. You guys are like really on your game with these candle care cards. I used to do them. I don't really anymore. I have it on my website and I put on my warning labels and that kind of thing. It became something I had to phase out as I grew, but you guys are making me want to put them back in again, because not only do I think they're useful, it's an extra nice little touch, but you guys have great templates. And then, oh, look, we have another open after card. You guys have been watching the channel, watching these reviews. If you hadn't seen other reviews, I like to make guesses on what I'm looking at as far as the waxes go and the wicks and all that. And then I fact check myself at the end to see how close I was or how far off I was. Sometimes I bat 1,000, other times I swing and miss. But it is a lot of fun. It adds a little something extra to these reviews. So I can't open that yet, but I will set it aside and make sure. Oh, and I didn't mention this. Again, to those of you that have never seen the reviews, the first part of this video is me reviewing, like unboxing, like we're doing now, and talking about the packaging, the labeling, any extras like care cards. We'll talk about the cold throw, what I think about the jar and the wick and all that kind of stuff, my guesses, right? And then at the end, after I do some testing, I'll come back in the video and give you my overall thoughts on the performance and how it was wicked and how it burned and the hot throw. And then we'll fact check my guesses for accuracy. That's what this is about. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Okay, so it looks like we have two candle products here, but before I open those, there is this cute little, again, it's this whole cosmic vibe with the stars and the spiritual, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I don't know, but I really like it, and it's intriguing, and it makes you just want to know more. So awesome job on the branding so far. This looks like okay, yeah, so this is a wax melt sample. It says Ritual. I don't know if that's the name of the fragrance or part of the whole vibe here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so look, even little like spiritual glitzy little cosmic flakes on your wax melts. These are cute. These are like tiny little wax cubes. I don't know what wax we're working with yet in the candles, but I imagine it's not the same as these, but I guess I could be wrong. I know that fragrance, I think. I'm pretty sure I know that fragrance. I don't know. But I really love your little sample wax cubes. That's really cute. Not only does it give a great opportunity for someone to sample the fragrance itself before they buy a candle, but if they also have a wax melter, it's a free tiny little bit of product too. So which one should we open first? I don't know. I'm afraid to even ask, but Alan, which one would you open first? Is that a serious question? I mean, you always open boxes last. Okay, but what if they're all boxes? Okay, well, weird logic, but I'll go with it. We will save the box for last, and we will open this one first. This one says Sleepwalker. You have nailed your vibe. I mean, you've nailed your branding and your niche and your whole look and feel 1000%. So don't ever change. Like you've got this down. It's kind of like some of these other candle companies we've done where the reviews of specific candle collections that were theme based. If you're interested in checking a few of those out, we've done a couple of those recently, and those have a very specific theme to each of their candle lines, whereas your entire brand has this very, very specific look and feel to it. And I love it, and I'm digging it, so I would keep being consistent with what you've got going here. I believe I've seen these jars before. I'm pretty sure these are for like a local, like a Family Dollar or a Hobby Lobby maybe. I've seen them locally, not from a candle supplier website, but I've seen them from just like a local store. So a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's or like a Family Dollar or something like that. But they fit perfect for your theme, for your brand. I mean, with the little gold bottom and this cosmic blue, and then of course you glittered the top with little moons and stars. Interesting jar choice. Again, it's not something I would have ever considered using, but for your brand, it's like perfect. So perfect choice. You know yourself, you know your company very well. Fragrance. I have no idea. I'm still smelling the sample of the wax melts on my finger. Oh my gosh, I just realized what those were. Let me get those back. Yep. Yeah, these are, well, I shouldn't feel so confident because they could literally be from anywhere. But this smells 100% exactly like the Palo Santo from Candle Science. And the reason I'm saying that so specifically is, well, A, it does smell like Palo Santo, but I just did a pretty extensive review on Candle Science's new fragrances for their spring and summer collection just a couple months ago. And I'm very familiar with Palo Santo from Candle Science. I'm going to guess that that is the fragrance. That is, I mean, here's the thing about guessing fragrance oils. There are hundreds of companies and hundreds of thousands of fragrance oils. It can literally be anything. So that's like ridiculous to even try to like pinpoint a specific one. And so 99% of the time, I'm just guessing on the overall notes and basically what kind of fragrance is in the oil. But that one, I'm pretty darn sure is Palo Santo. And I'm pretty darn sure it's from Candle Science. Moving on. Let's go back to this one. This one, on the other hand, I have no idea what it is. I'm assuming because of the look and feel and the color and everything that has something to match their theme, maybe something spiritual, like it even said Sleepwalker on the packaging. So I'm assuming it's something relaxing, calming, mysterious, something like that. But I have no idea what the fragrance oil is. Alan, what do you think?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, man. That smells exactly like surfing on your pillow.
Once again, very strange answer, but somehow strangely accurate. Let's move on to the box now. This one is called Signature. And looks like this is the top. Ooh, okay, so pink. Let's see. Let's go ahead and check this out. By the way, I have not forgot. I'm going to be going back and talk about the wax and the wicks and all that. I just want to start with the jars because they just catch your eye. And I want to talk about the jars, the labels, and the fragrance first. So this one definitely is a more traditional candle. And it is the only one so far that, well, I guess there's only been two, but this one actually has a label on it. The other one did not, and I didn't really mention that. There's a lot of debate on whether or not you need the label actually on the product. And so as long as you've got it somewhere like on the box or the packaging, and then you can even refer to more information about it on your website, that is going to be enough most of the time to put you in the clear so that you're following proper labeling regulations. You've got to keep in mind that not all jars, not all candles have a spot for a label. So that's why there are exceptions to the rule. I would personally, what I would recommend is instead of just wrapping it with the craft paper and putting a name on the craft paper, I would use that as your packaging. So I'd put the name of the candle, the net weight ounces, and all the other information you would typically put on a label. I would put on that. Could put some more on the warning label as well, but it doesn't look like you made these yourself. These are pre-purchased, so that would be my suggestion. Let's go back to this one. This one does have your traditional candle label on it. This one is called Signature. It is hand poured in Denver, Colorado. I was literally just in Denver like a week and a half ago. 9-ounce candle. This is your typical Libby status jar candle. That's what these are usually called. Before I open this, most people will single wick these, but double wicking these become more popular because they can be very difficult to single wick. This is in that range. This diameter is about 3.5 inches, somewhere like that. I don't remember exactly. But that diameter can be really tough with a lot of waxes to wick properly because it's in between sizes. It's too big for one wick, but it's almost too small for 2 wicks. So people have been getting creative with how to wick this properly. So I'll be curious to see what we've done here. So back to your traditional look with your black lid. Let's go ahead and open it up. And there we go. So it is double wicked. We'll talk about that here and more in a second. But once again, we have that kind of mysterious cosmic. I keep saying those 2 words. I apologize if that's not what you're going for, but that's the vibe I get. So a little bit of glitter inside, and it's not too much. A lot of people are probably going to wonder, what are my thoughts on glitter and adding things to your candles? For the most part, my general recommendation is to keep your candles clean of foreign objects. Not only is that, I think, a good recommendation, I think that's probably the best answer for insurance reasons as well, and proper burning of your wicks. But there are additives that are candle safe, and so you can't say that in some sweeping response that you don't put anything in your candles, because some things are candle safe. Also, it's important to note that there's not much in these. It's not enough that's going to affect the wick or the burn, I would imagine. It's just done very lightly, but enough to give a little bit of an effect. This fragrance, this reminds me of something from being in school. Like my classroom smelled like this, or I had a teacher that wore a perfume similar to this. I really don't know what it is. I'm not familiar with the fragrance at all. I'm picking up a little bit of I don't know, it's a little floral, it's a little sweet, it's a little perfumey. I really don't. I'm kind of stumped on this one. I want to say maybe a little bit of a sandalwood or maybe a little bit of a tobacco or something, but other than that, I don't know what's in it. I'm moderately fond of this cold throw. I like the other 2 better, but I often change my opinion when something's burning, so we'll see what I think after we actually burn it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the wax. I believe both waxes are the same. There was really nothing to indicate that they were different. All right, hey, just a heads up, I just had my little side camera die on me, so I had to switch cameras to record the rest of this kind of up-close footage here. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. Got to keep in mind that there's a lot of different waxes out there, just like there's fragrance oils. So trying to pick something specific, if it's kind of an off-the-wall or a unique wax or something I've never heard of, there's no way I'm going to be able to guess it exactly right. But I'm going to do my best to pick at least the characteristics, things that I think might be in the wax. If I'm fairly confident, I might choose a specific wax brand because I know a lot of candle makers, there's a lot of common waxes people start with, and especially if you watch the channel, there's a higher chance you might be using one of the ones we've talked about before. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make my best guess. Just the feel of this, it's I would say 100% this is a Parasoy. Now it could be a soft paraffin like a IGI 4630, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's a Parasoy. Now there are firmer Parasoys and there are softer Parasoys. Because of the feel of this, and I've done a few candles reviews with very, very similar waxes before, and because I've used this wax a lot in the past, I'm going to put my money on this being IGI 6006 Parasoy wax. That was where I would place my bet. We'll find out later once we get to that open after envelope and figure out how close I am. So when choosing the wicks, that can be tough with 6006 because there are a lot of different wicks that people use in that wax. HTP wicks, zinc wicks, CD wicks, Eco wicks, Premier 700 wicks, LX wicks. There's a lot of wicks that people use with 6006. I can rule out a lot of those right off the bat just because of the look of them. This is not LX wicks, it's not a Premier wick, it's not a zinc wick, not options. That leaves HTP, CD, and Eco wicks. Now, I don't know how well the camera will show the wick characteristics, but Eco wicks have wider gaps between the V's where the cotton and the paper threads are threaded in. That was a horrible explanation, but basically I can usually tell the difference between an Eco wick and an HTP or CD wick, even though they're all cotton wicks with paper filaments and they pretty much look very similar. So that leaves HTP and CD wicks. I do not like CD wicks at all with this wax. That's my personal opinion, and through my years of testing, I have never got good results. I am going to assume that these are HTP wicks. It's very hard to tell the difference looking at a CD wick and an HTP wick, the difference between the two, but I'm going to go with HTP wicks. So far, here's my guesses. We talked about the fragrance oils already, but so far I think we're working with a 6006 wax and HTP wicks. The sizing, that's going to be, that's what we're going to check out next. I've never used HTP in 6006 in a candle this small, so although fairly close, I don't know. I would say maybe an HTP 72, 73. I kind of forgot my HTP sizing there for a minute, but that would be my guess on the small one. Somewhere in that range, though. It could be a 62 up to an 83 potentially, although I think 83 is probably a little bit too big for this guy. For the double wick, this is interesting. I would have probably, I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself because these ones are definitely bigger wicks than the one in the blue candle, and I said 72. This has got to be smaller. This has got to be like a HTP 52 maybe. That'd be my guess on that one. Then I would go with a couple HTP 62s maybe. I would say 62s on this one, 2 HTP 62s. Now, they look a little bigger than that to me, so they could be 73s or something. I would be a little nervous about using a wick, 2 wicks that large in this jar, so I might be wrong on that. We'll know a lot more after we test and we have some feedback, but those are my roundabout guesses. To wrap up this first part of the video, I just wanted to say once again that your theme, your niche, your branding, your whole vibe, your whole look and feel is on target. Like, it is very, very well done. I think you've done a great job of being consistent with everything. I love your whole concept, love the whole brand. My favorite fragrance was probably the sample, which I'm pretty positive is Palo Santo. My second favorite would have been whatever the heck this one is. Alan says it's surfing on your pillow, whatever that means. God, it still seems to be a pretty good description. And then the last one being this one called Signature. I don't know what it is, but I might enjoy this one the best when it's burning. We'll see. But I also do think this is going to be the strongest fragrance thrower. Well, that's not fair. It's a larger jar with 2 wicks, so I'm sure it will be. But this one seems to be the strongest cold throw as well. So we are going to pick up after I've had a chance to test these, so I will be right back. Hi everyone, I am back, and I've had a chance to test out those candles from And Ivy over the past week and a half or 2 weeks. And we're going to talk about my feedback on the performance, the wicking, and how overall test, burning, hot throw, and all that went. And then at the very end, we're also going to check out the answers to my guesses. So we're going to fact check myself based off the guesses I made about the wicks and the fragrance and all of that. So stay tuned for the rest of this video. Okay, so we're going to start off with, I gave each of these candles a code name just for reference when I was making my notes. I called the bigger one that was the green and some of the colors and cosmic stuff on the top with the double wick. I called that Big Green, and I called the other one Lil Blue. We're going to start with Little Blue. This was the one of the 2 candles that ended up not performing too great for me. Now, again, as I say in all these candle review videos, the big disclaimer here is that these are test results and feedback by me in my environment, my testing, and my experiences. All of this could vary person to person, and so I understand other people might get totally different results. So always keep that in mind. But for me, this one ended up being just a little bit underwicked. The wicking, I'll be honest, I was a little confused in the first part of this video, and I made some notes about that to kind of refresh my memory. But to me, I had guessed that the wick should have been around an HTP 73, but honestly, it could have been a 62, 73, maybe an 83, but somewhere in there. But after looking at the wicks, I ended up changing my mind that, well, they look too small to be an HTP 73, so it must be like a 52 or something, or even smaller. And that might be why the candle was a little underwicked. So this one did have a hard time burning for me. It did kind of want to drown out, even after just the first couple burns. And it was definitely tunneling a little bit. I did enjoy the fragrance of this one a little bit better. Like, this is the one that I personally was drawn to as far as fragrance goes, and I love the jar and everything. But I think this one was just a little bit too underwicked. So my recommendation on this one would be, if you're not using an HTP 73, let's go ahead and try that one first for your next test. And again, when we open the open after card, we'll get to see what is actually being used. So I might have to alter my recommendations. So we'll get to that. But my general recommendation at this point is to try a couple size larger on the wick. and then retest and see if we can get this one a little more dialed in. Now, let's move on to Big Green. Big Green, I thought was excellent. So it wasn't my favorite fragrance cold throw wise, just not really my cup of tea necessarily, but I actually loved it when it was burning. It smelled great. Great job on the fragrance, great job on the hot throw. It screamed with hot throw, so I had no problems. At one point, I had even moved this to a back corner of the main level, through a master bedroom, into a bathroom, and I could smell it all the way from the bathroom, through the master bedroom, through the living room, and into the kitchen. This one was overpowering any other test candles I had. So great job on the hot throw, no problems. And good job on the wicking. So this one I guessed it's probably somewhere around a couple HTP 62s was a general guess. Whatever it was, whatever you chose was very good. If anything, just because we're always trying to tweak and improve our products even just a little bit, if I was going to test again, I would try one size smaller on the wick. So wick down one size, or on the wicks, there's two of them. I would wick down on each of them one size just to see if you get better results. The only reason I mention that is because, yes, these burned great and had great hot throws. Having two wicks in a jar that size, the jar can get super hot. And it did get pretty hot at the top, and that was during when the candle was still burning pretty early on. So it's only going to get hotter the further you go down. So my only advice would maybe wick up on the other one, potentially wick down on this one. But that's just a big maybe on wicking down because it was burning great, and it burned great for the majority of the candle. I do want to mention a caveat, this is a teaching moment for anyone that is curious about how the wick seems to change, like the proper wicking size seems to change through the life of the candle. The problem, the difficulty with trying to dial in the right wick on jars is that sometimes you need that larger size wick for the top portion of the candle, and that is because there's no heat being trapped in the glass. Like if it was further down in the candle, that extra heat being trapped in would help melt down the wax. So a lot of people will wick thinking they need a larger wick at that point. But then halfway down, that wick size ends up being too big. But then further down, near the bottom, the candle is struggling for oxygen, and now that wick's having a hard time staying lit. So there's this weird cycle that happens during the wick process, and that's why it is so important to test a wick from top to bottom. There's a lot of general advice out there about when you're wick testing, just to fill your candles about halfway, or sometimes 2/3. I don't do that personally, and it's for that specific reason. If I only test the candle halfway or for 2/3, then I feel like I am missing potentially some important information. And I might find out that the wick was never big enough to begin with, and it would have never got to 2/3 of the candle, because by then there might have been too much hang up, too much tunneling, or it could have been the opposite. Now, I will say it's not a bad idea to start that way if you're just trying to get in the rough range of a wick, like your wick type, or maybe a range of wick sizes, and then you could do a full burn. That's completely fine, and that makes total sense. But my general advice here is to definitely always test a candle top to bottom the whole way through before you consider it a ready-to-go sellable candle. All of that being said, the reason I mention that is I'm suggesting potentially wicking down on the double wicked candle just to see if it's any better. You may already have your correct wicks dialed in, and if so, great, because like I said, it was a very good burning candle. Overall, great candle. Burned great, hot throw was great, and the wicking seemed to be pretty darn good the majority of the candle. So before we get to the fact checking here, I just want to say once again, the biggest thing that stood out to me about your candles was how well you stuck to your theme and your knowing your business, knowing yourself, and keeping your candles cohesive. Everything screamed like you knew it was coming from the same business, the same feel. So great job overall with your niche and your theme and your branding. Let's go ahead and have a little fun here and check my guesses. Okay, so remember this was the open after, so I made a few guesses early on, and actually before I read this, let's talk about my guesses real quick. I had guessed that the wax was the 6006, and I gave you all an unnecessarily long explanation of why. And then for the wicks, I thought that the Little Blue was or should have been around an HTP 73, but then backed it down after looking at them to like an HTP 52 or something. For the double wicked one, I said probably a couple HTP 62s, maybe 73s, somewhere in that range. And then fragrance oils, I honestly don't remember what I guessed. I remember one of the guesses, but let's go ahead and read this. There is a little bit of a note here just saying, hello again. Hope you had a good time reviewing the candles. Can't wait to hear for thoughts and the feedbacks. And here are your answers below to see how accurate your guesses were. Have an amazing rest of the summer. And thank you once again. This is from Hannah and Ivy. Starting with the jars, they say Dollar Tree. Okay, well, the Libby jars are pretty standard. You can find those jars anywhere, including from tons of candle suppliers. So that one I would have not thought was at Dollar Tree, but now that she says it, yes, that makes sense. I have seen them there. The other ones, the little blues, that's exactly where I've seen them. I couldn't remember where it was. I knew it was somewhere local, like a Family Dollar or a Hobby Lobby or something. It was Dollar Tree. So labels, she designs them on Canva and prints them on labels she purchases from Online Label. I do a lot of that myself. The wax. Okay, so here we go. Specific guesses. It is indeed 6006 wax, so we got that one right. She is using some UV inhibitor. I didn't really talk about that or guess on that, but a lot of times when people are using color, using dye in their candles, they do use UV inhibitor. The melt sample was, I can't really tell, PB. I'm assuming it's Pillar of Bliss from Nature's Garden. It's the only PB I know of. That would make sense for a wax melt. Now, for the wicks, let's start with Little Blue, the 5-ounce candle. It says 1 HTP 41. Okay, so I think that's where the problem is and why it was a little underwicked for me. Because if I was starting with that candle, would have started with probably an HTP 62 and then adjusted. You may have been able to go down to a 52 or up to a 73. So I would have started with a 62, and that would be my suggestion on the Little Blue, is to go ahead and try an HTP 62 and see where you go from there. The 9-ounce double-sided one, or double wicked one, was 2 HTP 73s or 72s, whichever. That's pretty much exactly what I guessed, and that would be, like I said, they did burn really well, but maybe try 2 HTP 62s and see how it works. I'm on a roll with some of these guesses. Now, sometimes I am familiar with the wax and the wicks, and other times I'm not. They're curveballs for me. Fragrance oils. These are all going to be curveballs for me. I had no idea what we were working with there. Sleepwalker was the one, the Little Blue, I believe, and it was called Moonchild from Brambleberry. Moonchild. Okay. Oh gosh, I have to give Alan some credit here, because I'm pretty sure Alan said something like, it smelled like surfing on his pillow. I mean, I know that's not Moonchild, but like that actually sounds pretty good, like pretty close. Kind of cosmic, fresh air. All right, yeah, I'll give that one to Alan. I completely failed that one. The signature, which I believe was the double wicked one, is saffron and tobacco. Okay, so part of that, I think I got a little bit of the tobacco. I thought there was something sweet there, but I had no idea that was saffron and tobacco, and that was from Wood & Wick Company, I believe. Like I said, I didn't enjoy that one as much out of the cold throw, but the hot throw, I loved it. And then finally, Ritual. These were the little wax melts. I 100% got that one right. If you remember, it was like on the tip of my tongue, then all of a sudden it like dawned on me what it was. And I said it was Palo Santo. It is indeed Palo Santo. And then I said, I'm pretty positive it's even the Palo Santo from Candle Science. It's the Palo Santo from Candle Science. We did pretty good overall. She says at the bottom, were your guesses close? I can't wait to find out. Most of them, yes. Most of them I think I did pretty good on. The others, they were long shots, and I obviously missed those. But thank you once again. This was a lot of fun. As always, this is a blast, and I appreciate you sending in your candles for review. I love that we can, as a community, work together like this. So if anyone else is interested in doing the same thing, let me know in the comment section. Shoot me an email to youtube@blacktiebarn.com. We can go from there, and I'll just shoot you some information, some details if you're interested in doing this as well. And also, as I always ask everyone to do when I do these review videos, is please show some love to the candle makers that sent in their candles. In the comment section below, just, a thank you or a shout out or what your favorite part of their candle was, about the packaging, the colors, the names, anything. I really like to see engagement on these videos, especially to support the candle makers that decided to send in their products. So it's a great opportunity for us to share and learn from each other. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to check out some other videos on the channel, and I will see you next time.